Super Rugby Power Rankings, folks, for round number 12. 3 rounds to go. How are the teams heading as we approach playoffs time? We'll go through them, kind of compare the recent results and some of the standings on the table, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. Power Rankings agree with the table for the 12th team being the Waratahs. They can only beat the Crusaders. They lost again. This time at home to the Brumbies in the wet with the jerseys bloody look like each other, which kind of was grinding my gears. But anyway, I don't know, man. The Waratahs in glimpses, part of their play, look all right. But then other times, no. Pretty frustrating one. I think there's still potential on that side, but it's just not panned out this season. Moana Pacifica got in 11th. That is the same as what they had last week in the power rankings, so a little bit harsher than the actual ranking, which they have on 10th in the actual table. They've lost, I believe, 6 of their last 7 games, which is, just not great. They were at home, if you can call it home, because they don't really have a home this year. They've been playing in multiple different home grounds. They lost at home to the Chiefs pretty handily, man. They got absolutely flogged, if I'm being honest. I don't know. They're still a bit of an enigma, Moana Pacifica. Who are their real fans? Where's their real home? Yeah, not really sure. But, fingers crossed they can get a win before the season is out. Like another one, because they've had a couple. The Crusaders I've got in 10th, which is actually higher than their log position of 11th. They lost a pretty crucial game, and that's got them down 1 on the power rankings. Pretty crucial game to the Highlanders. They go into that one bolstered with, Tamaiti Williams being back, Cody Taylor being back, and the Highlanders not in great form. And the Highlanders having a terrible record against New Zealand teams, but couldn't quite get it done. Now, the Crusaders are not out of the playoffs just yet, but their run-in is tough with the fixtures they've got. They got the Blues, they got the Brumbies next, then the Blues, and then Moana Pacifica. So kind of, 2 games against top 3 sides, and then one of the bottom ranked sides. So you'd back them to get at least 1 win out of those 3 on current form, but they'll need to really lift and get a big scalp, I feel, if they're going to get a job done. Because you feel like the Drua, who are ahead of them in the 8th spot, have got at least 1 more win in them between now and then. So, we'll have to wait and see. Speaking of the Drua, their form, that being said, is pretty poor. They got flogged by the Force. I mean, they're 8th on the actual table. I've got them 9th on the power rankings. They've lost 4 of their last 5, down 1 on the power rankings, like I say. I mentioned it the other day that the Force are pretty good at home. Like, they've beaten the Reds at home, they've beaten the Crusaders at home, now they've beaten the Drua at home. And the Drua just don't win away. So the combination of those 2 factors just resulted in an absolute walloping. But yeah, the Drua are at home in their next game against the Reds. And as I said, that they do need at least another win to put some distance between them and the kind of pack. But yeah, we will see. The Rebels are doing all right on the actual table. They're in 6th. The power rankings have got them down in 8th, and that's down 1 from 7th from last week. Their just recent form is just not great. They've lost their last 3 games. They played all right against the Reds, but not enough to secure a win. They were ahead for a while, but couldn't kind of hang on for that one. So I do worry. We've seen it numerous times in their history. I seem to remember times when in the old Super Rugby days, when we still had the South African teams, the Rebels at one point were like top row on my power rankings, maybe top spot even. They had a decent draw, clocked up some wins, and then just fell off a cliff at the end of the season. Fell out to the point where they didn't make the playoffs. So you feel like they're still going to make the playoffs, but as I said, recent form has not been that flash. The Force, they've won 2 of their last 4, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty decent. So they are up 3 spots in the power rankings. We're looking at kind of recent form being important. That is their home form that seems to get them the job done. So yeah, they're outside the playoffs on the actual table. They are in 9th as part of that chasing pack. But who knows, man? If that big win over the Drua can to inspire them to lift their game to another level, and those new signings they've had over the course of the season, a season will be kind of settled in by now. Who knows if the Force can can clock in a playoffs appearance. The Highlanders I got in 6th with that win over the Crusaders. Certainly an important win in terms of getting the monkey off the back of not being able to beat Kiwi teams, and great one to win over your rival. They're the same on the power rankings as last week though, so not enough to overtake the teams ahead of them. But still, I do think that'll serve them well. I feel like if the Highlanders had lost that game to the Crusaders, mentally that would have been a big blow. But the fact that they got the job done, will potentially push them forward. And then the Reds, this kind of weird team, too good to be with the rest of them, but not good enough to be with the ones above them. Tough win over the Rebels, but a game they got done. Like the Reds this season have had a couple of games where they've gone in as hot favourites and just not performed, but not this time. They were down and they showed some mettle to come back and win that one. So, yeah, I do feel like the Reds are a pretty decent side this year, and Les Kiss is doing a pretty remarkable job. Top row, and I'm not happy with the way this has been spat out. I don't agree with it. But the Hurricanes have come out 4th. Dropping from 2nd, so dropping 2 spots. I don't agree with it. I think it's harsh. They lost to the Blues away by a whisker. They could have won it. They easily could have won that game. They were right in it. They'll take confidence from the fact that they can go, up here to Eden Park in front of a pretty decent crowd, and and push the Blues all the way to the final whistle. So the fact that they've dropped 2 spots on the power rankings for mine seems harsh. I would have had them probably still in 2nd, which is where they sit on the actual table. But that's where they've come out. Remembering we're putting more weighting on recent results because a couple of these teams had wins. That would be the Chiefs, albeit against a kind of lowly Moana Pacifica side. They flogged them, absolutely flogged them. So credit to the Chiefs for doing that. And they did it without, Damian McKenzie and whatnot. So a bit of squad rotation. Not a problem for the Chiefs. Brumbies I've got in 2nd. Likewise, they beat a pretty lowly team in the Tars, like the Chiefs. No, they had to, like the Reds. They kind of had to work for it. Tars certainly didn't make it easy for them. The rain probably, was a factor, but the Brumbies, they're doing all right. They've beaten the Hurricanes, so you could argue they're above them, but they also had a massive loss to the Blues at one point this season. So either way, top Aussie side. And then there's the Blues. I think at the moment, clearly the number 1 side because they've got the best record. They're the only side who's just lost the 1 game, so that is pleasing. Does that mean as a Blues fan I'm convinced they're not going to find a way to muck things up? No, because I've been burned many a time by the Blues, but hey, enjoying seeing them there. Really good arm wrestle game against the Hurricanes, which I think absolutely lived up to the billing. If for some reason you haven't seen the highlights of that one, definitely well worth a watch this season of Super Rugby. It's been pretty thoroughly entertaining. I'll say it one more time. If you want to get $10 from Sharesies, which is like this investment platform, I had $40 in there the other day because one of my workmates pitched me this same pitch a couple of years ago and I signed up. Got $10 when I signed up. Then I pushed my missus to sign up and a couple of you guys signed up. So now I got a few more dollars. If you want $10 from Sharesies, there's a link down in the description. If you sign up using that code, you get $10 and I get $10. Hooray for getting $10. Aussies and Kiwis are both welcome to do so, I believe, but not the rest of the world, sorry, in case you're watching from other parts. But anyway, you guys let us know your thoughts. How do you reckon Super Rugby is sitting thus far? Do you agree with me that the Hurricanes should probably still be here despite that recent loss? I don't think that loss was so drastic. It's ruined their form, but as I said, that's the way things have spat out. I don't agree with it, but hey, what are you going to do? I'll try to fix the formula for next year. Anyway, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.